Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. It is time for Friday night on the Homestead, and tonight's topic is winterizing your livestock. And I hope everybody's doing good out there. Let me jump over here and see who else here and make sure I got everybody. So first one in was Lewis. It's the Marshmallow Man, followed by Walt Rogers and I froze. Shady Hill Homestead, and Moon Over Miami. Geeky Garden says he'll take fifth. Phelan Clan Wolf was sixth. Then King Poopah came in. Hey, Dustin. Little and Prepper was next. Diana 2, Suzanne Gallet, Kaylin Strain. And that's all we have down below here. So if anybody's lurking, you're welcome to lurk. Just at least hit the thumbs up and at least say, "Hey, lurking." And that's all you got to do. That helps the algorithm go, "Oh, someone's actually watching. It's not a bot." Oh no. Well, what I'm about to tell you, Dustin, I got a nice Savage 22 bolt action with a threaded barrel on it. And you're got to use your imagination here. But there was these ads and stuff for these cleaning devices that you screw onto the threaded barrel. You can put on a solvent filter on there and take the bolt out, and pour your fluid in, and run it back and forth, and slosh the thing around. And well, it seems some agency seems to think that those oil filters, fuel filters, solvent filters, whatever, can be used to have another nefarious purpose that it's not supposed to be used for, where the possums can't hear what's hitting them. I hope you got that. All right. Also just came in here. Angel's Homestead. Chef Tech just came in. Yeah, a whisper can. That's it. You got it. A whisper can. Now a Trump ad. Better than a camel toe and I don't know what to call him. Anyways, ad. All right, so if Dustin or anybody else wants to come on up here, I'm dropping the link in here. And that goes, and you guys can come on up and share how you winterizing your stock. So I'm going to go over some stuff here. Let me bring it up here. Looking into, yep, up. I hear grandsons making a noise in the background. Hang on one second. There we go. Winterize the cat. Yeah. Anyways, let's get this here over going. All right. So winterizing your livestock. First of all, what is your livestock? What are we talking about? We're talking about anything or any animal that you raise outside the house. So if you have a dog's half time is inside the house. Here comes Mark. So the dog is half the time in the house, half the time outside. Same with the cats. That's not livestock. Those are family members, aka pets.
What about beef stock? Can I winterize my beef stock, my chicken stock?
Knowing you, what you're talking about, yeah, you winterize it by putting it in a glass jar with a superb seal on it.
And keep it in a room that doesn't freeze. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. Every time the grandkids come over, first question I ask them, did you guys have your vitamins this morning? 90% of the time, no. Here's your gummy vitamins.
Second words is call mommy or text mommy. Go, seriously, mom?
No, the second thing is go wash your hands. Soap and water does amazing things. Yeah, they got to go winterize themselves. All righty, so let's go in here. So livestock include everything from birds of all types to four-legged animals to I think those two cover just about every. Cool. Lewis just gifted 5 more memberships, and let's see who's grabbing it. Angels Homestead was gifted 1. King Poopaw was 1. Teresa Buchanan received a channel membership gift, and so did Moon Berserker. Woohoo!
Sweet.
So thank you, Lewis, for sharing those out. There are some friends of mine. I have never had it myself, but when we go to scout camp, they would hunt the squirrels at scout camp and fix them up for themselves.
So if you take a squirrel, skin it, which is not difficult, gut it, which is not difficult if you're into that, wrap it in bacon, wrap it in foil, and throw it on the grill or on your fire, you're good. A little bony, but fair amount of meat, and the bacon definitely changes it. If you have bacon. If you're just eating squirrel, salt and pepper.
Wrong one. There we go. Boom. There we go. So Liberty Gardens in the house. Great channel. Protein tubs, hay, an old barn. It's all required for his livestock. Yeah, and we're going to get to that. To some of the things that are some of the livestock, what they need is very little because nature made them tough anyways. So let's So you have chickens sitting out. Now I know it's really hard to see on this picture, but they wrap the cage with clear Visqueen, like the 4 mil stuff or the 3 mil stuff you can get in the painting supply to keep the wind off of the birds. And that can do a lot for animals. Oh, Tammy's here. Rebel Canner's in the house. And so keeping the wind off the animals, all animals, helps them out a lot. I mean, literally, just, the chilling wind, just is what, kills a lot of animals. Now here when they actually used it's not actually a tarp, I guess they recycled some plastic material to line part of it here to give them a little protection from the wind, besides being in there, the coop part where it's nice and dark. But if it's really cold, they'll all be inside the coop thing, huddle and get warm. They'll come out and eat, and they'll go back in.
So it went down to 28 degrees the other night. My wife was looking through the window, and I was trying to decide what's the lowest temperature she can handle before I should let her in. Okay.
Hey, wait a minute. That was a Prepper 101 joke.
Yeah, whatever. It's been a lot of memes and things out there. And
yeah.
Should I let her in?
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Speaking of tarps, I saw a bunch of people posting stuff like this for when I looked at ideas for winterizing, livestock. A bunch of them did this. They took basically the portable panels, put 3 of them together, took cow panels, put them over the top, and zip tied them together because this is temporary for the winter, and then put a tarp over it and zip tied all the eyelets to the cow panels and stuff. And this will provide, much needed wind protection from the animals. Now, the one thing you got to be careful about when these type of setups, these temporary things, you got to know which direction your wind blows the most of the time.
You better anchor that sucker down or it's a parachute.
Well, what they did here, you can't hardly see it, but if you look over on the far left here, on the bottom here, if you got it blown up enough, there's a green T-post in there. So basically, they drove T-posts in on the corners and tied the corral piece to the T-post before they stretched everything up and over. So, yeah, this one's anchored in, but you want to catch it so it still doesn't, stretch it out and everything, and possibly tear the tarp material. But tarps that work wonder if, so long as you remember, they are a sail waiting to catch the wind.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bunnies.
Now this one here, I got a couple pictures along this, but what she's doing is she's put up some PVC pipe, taped some visqueen to it. She's already cut it to size. She put more PVC on the bottom, put Gorilla Tape on it, and did everything up so she can roll it up or roll it down. So when it's warming up and it's a warmer day, she'll roll it up, and at night she'll roll it back down. And she's got a bunch of LED lights on this thing up inside, across. You can see the LED light shine for them if it's a cold day and the wind's blowing. She has it down, strapped down. She wants them to get plenty of light. So here's where she's cutting it and fitting it to size and getting everything set up. So this is a great, easy, do-it-yourself project. This is basically a brand. I got to remember Caravan brand 10 by 10 pop-up, and they got it with the silver top on it, and then they got the sides for it as well. On this front here in the middle, you got Velcro at the bottom here, but it zips up so you can provide a walk-in for it. Excuse me a minute. Excuse me.
That little tent doesn't look very secure. It looks all puffed out from the wind.
Yeah, wind will get into it, and when it hits the side and goes up under the edge and stuff. We've used these at scout camp. So long as we had them anchored and not anchored by the foot, we'd drive in some the 10-inch tent spikes at an angle, tie it off, and tie it up to the bracket up in the corner up here.
Yep.
We've never had one blow away. We thought it was going to blow away. Those inside of it thought it was going to blow away, but it held and never had anything break on it.
Couple 55-gallon drums, fill them with water, and run the rope through it, and yeah.
You don't even need to fill them. You go half full or a third full. That's plenty of weight if you got 4 of them on there.
8 pounds per gallon. Yep.
Now this one I thought was cute. They made this little hoop house for the chickens for the winter, and it goes right up to the chicken coop, to the little door that opens up that lets the chickens out. And so with all this insulation hay in here, the chickens are going to stay nice and warm. There's going to be little bugs and stuff trying to get in the hay because it's warmer inside. So, free food. And they do good. You can see up on the beams up here where the chickens are trying to build nests. Yeah, chickens will build a nest up if you give them a chance. So you're going to find out here that straw is a great way to insulate stuff. Yeah, I had 5 fires in my wood burning stove. So I finally got the gas company to fix the regulator on the meter and take it from a 2.5 pound flow to a 1/2 pound flow, where I could actually use my furnace properly. And now I can get a gas stove, I can get a gas dryer, a gas water heater. All right, next one here. And here's one of those little chicken coops. And what they did is they just piled bales of straw around it, keeps it nice and warm.
Yeah, chickens make a lot of humidity and heat.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't take much to keep above 40.
Yeah. if you see, if you ever had a chance to watch Sean in Alaska, his chickens are out there up high too, you know, stuff. And the last time I saw on one of his winter ones, he only had light in there that came on during the daytime to make sure they stayed light. Sometimes they'd come out, sometimes they'd stay in. But you know, he didn't have any heat in there for his chickens. They winterized just good, but he provided wind blockage for them.
Yeah, you don't get many eggs, but you still get a few in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Just not a lot.
Some people have put daylight LED lights inside, so there's the light is lit up for 12 hours a day, and it's brighter, so the chickens, you know, oh, light, yes, and they produce more. Excuse me, need more water. All right. As you can see, they put bales of alfalfa, not straw, around the bottom of it. But where are the chickens? On top of the alfalfa. Well, the one's about ready to jump up, and they hang there. Not sure if this is a water feeder or a it's a grain feeder, not water. So they have the grain up so they don't kick the poo and stuff into it. Now with the rabbits here, they did the same thing. The cages, they stuck leaves of straw or alfalfa up there inside the cage. On top of the little boxes, they stuck some there. So a little bit of alfalfa, you know, provides a lot of extra heat retention. Howie's in the house. Food Forest Permaculture's here. Let's see. Now this is interesting. I'm thinking about possibly doing this.
Oh, geez.
So what they did is they built a platform off the ground. They stacked bales of hay around it, and then they framed in around the bales doors and stuff, and then put a roof on it. This is going to be super insulated.
Hopefully the roof is supported not by the bales of hay.
Well, see, it's got a platform sitting around on top of the bales.
Yeah,
and then there are some bracings. There are some bracings for the door going up. They got two doors in there, but yeah, a bale house like this will provide a lot of insulation
until the chickens eat through it, or the mice do.
Yeah. Well, I've seen chickens attack mice in their domain.
Oh yeah.
So here's another one. They just did a flat roof, a sloped roof on it, and got a bale one here, and they're getting it set up for their chickens for the winter. Here he is build, and this is a slightly out of pixelated focus, but he's putting the roof on a bale one. Here's a little bit different bale one. As you can see, the door jamb is the thickness of the bale.
Cool.
And so, and then the eaves, they put plastic sheeting up there to retain some of the heat and keep the wind from blowing through. So a lot of people that if they have the room and have access to it, they'll get straw bales and create a straw bale chicken house for their chickens and rabbits and other animals as well. I saw one, but it had a little bitty picture. I tried blowing it up. You couldn't see it. But they built a decent sized hay barn. It was a real pole barn with a roof on it that's normally open, and they just stacked hay around it on it and they were putting the animals in. They put plywood up on the inside so they wouldn't eat the hay and stuff. But they're putting sheep and goats in there. Now, this is a house, straw house, but to protect it, they actually just go ahead and put concrete stucco on it.
Yeah.
again, protecting the animals. My sister's horses, most in the snow, be out wandering in the pasture and stuff. At night they'd come in, or the wind started blowing hard, they'd come in against the barn. They didn't like coming in the barn too much, which is strange. But she said that, in the barn they get warmed up too much for when they go back out. They don't like, so they kind of just stay out a little bit next to the barn, so they stay acclimatized to the cold. Yeah, they do it for permanent solutions. And there's actually people that down in Arizona, New Mexico, and some of the more southern states use it to make their houses. So during the summertime, all that straw is insulation against heat as well, too.
Yeah, it's like a cob house.
Yeah. So it keeps it cool in the summertime, too. But yeah, a good blanket for a horse is, flip-on blanket like that will help them a lot. Now for water. They got, for the water troughs, keep them from freezing. And my sister had to do this a couple times. And actually, when I was living in Arizona during my junior and senior year, we actually went up to Sandy, Utah, where they were at, and it showed them how to dig the proper trench, lay the PVC, run wire through it out to where the water troughs were, and put in GFCI, whatever, GFIC outlets out there, so they could and put in heaters for their water troughs.
Mm-hmm.
Now for chickens and rabbits and stuff, they have heated water troughs and stuff, so they can use for the rabbits, but for their water, you got to keep it liquid. So, and then one of the things that you can do on those, some of these have automatic thermostats on it, so when it gets to a certain temperature, it comes on. Others just have the heater on it. Same thing with these; they'll have just the heater on it. So what you need is, if you don't want to have it on all the time, you get one of these. When the temperature drops below 38 degrees, it kicks on. It stays on until temperature gets above 50 degrees. So, if it's once it turns off, it has to get down below 38 again to come on. And let's see. Glenn's here. How to garden. So, and I got a couple of these, and I actually gave one to my daughter for her little circuit out there, and she has the watering can. So it's a little plate the watering can sits on that turns on when to heat it. She also has a heat lamp in there on the other side that only comes on when this kicks on. So if it's a normal day and it's not that cold, it doesn't come on. But if it gets too cold at night, it comes on for a little bit. And the heat lamp is not a light; it's one of those ceramic coil jobs, that just radiate heat out. Now, the other thing you got to consider running your water, keeping the water lines out to the water troughs and stuff, keeping it from freezing. And they have the heat tape that goes on water lines. And what's interesting is I saw someone using the same type of heat tape that I've been buying to augment my heat tape that the guys put in for my gutters and stuff. Where they get like a 6-foot piece, and they run it through a water trough, and so the ends are out of the water trough, and duct tape off on either side, and so that just keeps it just enough heat going to keep the trough from freezing up using one of these. And they also have the ones that have the automatic thermostat in them as well. Another one I saw someone do, I saw several of these people, different designs like this, where they the one they actually took two of the big ones, when the one was just a little bit smaller, and they lined it with straw, put it in it so it was insulated from the wind the wind chill factor for cooling, keep it from cooling off the water, making it freeze. So another way to keep water to the animals, and that way when you do put a heater in it, it's not fighting the wind chill factor blowing along the side of the container as well. And that's the fun stuff I have there. Picture-wise, there are a lot of options to help. Let me see what I got button here. There we go. To help winterize your animals. Now, like I said, probably the number one killer for animals is going to be the wind. Number two is the water freezing and them not getting anything to drink, so dehydration. Yeah. When I put my hydrants in, I did overkill. I got extra long ones that were supposed to go down 4 feet, and I put them down like 6 feet, so I have them up a little bit higher. Some of the farther out ones, and so they're well below the freezing. But when I put them in, Dustin, what I did was I dug bigger around it, and I dumped a bunch of drain rock and sand in around it. And off the bottom drain, I ran a piece of flexible grease gun thing, because that's 3/8 pipe. That's not 3/8, 1/8 pipe thread, and it allows it to drain out down. And then my last one, I actually wrapped it with black protection tape, which in the wintertime will absorb heat and keep it so it'll drain good.
How do those things work? When you shut the water off, I know the handles. I have lots of friends that have them. I never asked them.
All right, hang on a second. Let me show you.
You lift the handle up and you get water to your hose, hook your hose up or fill a bucket, whatever. When you shut it off, does it drain the water down to whatever the depth is?
Yeah, hang on. Let me show it to you here. Let me bring this up here. The hydrants. Here we go. All right, so this is the hydrant, and this is how it goes. Now down at the bottom, this bottom piece here, that's where the valve actually is. The valve's not on top. That rod goes all the way down and opens the valve down here. And it's a bypass valve.
What about the water in the pipe when you shut it off?
This is a bypass valve. And so when it's pushed down, it blocks off the drain hole down at the bottom. And when you open it up, it blocks off the drain hole and allows the water to go up. When you push it down, it shuts off the water coming in and opens that drain hole at the bottom.
Okay.
So it drains right out. And let's see, does it show no, it doesn't. It's not going to show it there, but it has the thing on it there. And what's not showing on this, on the back side, let me get over here if I can get fine. Well, that right down, I'm trying to get it to show up, but it keeps going off there. Well, you can see that little knobby thing on the left. Well, on the opposite side is the drain hole.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that knobby is the part of the bypass valve process. So the drain hole's on the other side.
So you put gravel down around it, so when you shut the valve off, so you're not running your hose, it drains into the gravel, just goes back into the ground. Right. And
gotcha. the more gravel you have, the better.
Right.
Yeah. Tammy Harder's here. Woohoo! All right, Liberty Gardens, go enjoy your dinner.
Ding, ding, food.
Yeah. And so one of the first things before I bought this property, I would notice Brandon with his quad would be pulling up into he has a hose bib on the front of the house here, and he'd fill up his buckets, and then he would drive it around out to where the pigs were to give pigs water every day. Well, one of the first things I did, before I put the driveway in and everything else, I tied into the water line and ran 3/4 inch PEX pipe out to the pig pen out there, put a yard hydrant there, ran it to the back of the shop, put another hot hydrant over there.
And you guys shut off valves at the shop, so in case there's a water leak, you can shut it off and not drain it.
Yeah, I got where I can shut it off to either just to that line, just to the house, or both.
Okay.
Because I got that out by the meter. So, yeah. So when it comes to water, that's that. Let me show up the other one here. Go back here one. And okay, I'm just looking at the screen as I'm going to type it in here for it. And if you have dogs outside, if they go outside during the day, they have, and for the cats, they have heated bowls for the dogs and cats as well. And then they got heated can.
I'm sorry, I don't keep my dog outside.
Yeah, well, I'm not outside. I mean,
outside and heats to heat their water up and doesn't let them in the house is not a good pet owner. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, see, my daughter's cats don't like staying. They come in the house to eat, they lay down, sleep, then they'll go outside, and they won't come back to the house for another 6 hours. Then they want to come in, eat, drink, and go back out again immediately. But if they had water, they put water out there. The one time I heated one for water, they come up, drink water, and then go wandering off again, hunting voles and mice in the snow. Now, this is one of the types I got for my daughter to put her water can sitting on. Let me open that up there. You can see the can just sits right on top of it, and that way you don't have the heating unit out there all during the summer and stuff. Bring it out when it starts getting cold, so it doesn't take wear and tear from the chickens and water and poo and stuff like that. But they got all sorts of different ones for heating. They got the ones with the little nipples on them there, the drinking nipples, and it's heated. So then they got all sorts of different ones for providing water that way. And then we got let me just redo this here. The water TROU for livestock. Okay, they got a whole bunch of different ones, and they get them in different wattages too. They got ones for if you got a metal water trough. Usually you just toss them in there. You don't worry about it touching the bottom. If you have the plastic ones, use the one on the far right here, which keeps the element off the bottom of the water. And they come, you got 500, 250, 500, 250, 1500 watt. They got, these are some other submersible ones here. Where are the ones from the side? They have some that float. I was looking for the cool ones on the side. All right, let me do a little check here. Control C. And go to images. This one barrel here has a heater that wraps around the barrel to keep it from freezing. If you happen to have like a cut-off barrel full of water. But they have ones that, like over here, these fit over the edge down into it. This one here is a floating one. And this one here plugs into the drain hole at the bottom and seals against it, so it keeps it up off the bottom, keeps it stable, and so you don't have the electrical cord going over the side where the animals can chew on it. This here is one that mounts on the side. There you go, another view of it, side mounted. This guy's making a submersible wood-fired one, like a rocket stove.
Oh, jeez.
Here's one that heats and has moves water around. so it doesn't freeze. That way it doesn't have to heat it as much. It keeps the water moving. So there are a bunch of options for them. That's the one on the bottom there. And it has safety things to set how far off the bottom. But yeah, you can get a bunch of different ones. Do things like here they got it built around it, and there's stuff in the hay or the insulation down around it to insulate the side of it so that it doesn't get as cold for it. Jeremy, Tennessee Tactical One is here. And so, yeah, there's, you can think outside the box. Oh, this one's cool too. If you're way out there, hey, they got a solar one that just heats it up just enough to keep the water from freezing for the animals. Yeah, dogs and cats will eat snow, but it lowers their core body temperature somewhat. But it does keep them from dehydrating. But if you have water out there, they can go do it. And here's one of those wood-fired hot tub. Trough. Yeah, got to do the wood trough. Now this one I like here is they got it for set up so the goats and stuff drink from one side, and then so the other side they can run all their cords and stuff down in for the heater to keep it from freezing up. And it also gives them access to, when they come out to add more water to it, they can add water to it without getting messing with the goats and stuff.
So about 10, 12 years ago, I had a 100-gallon in-ground pond out back, and we would just run down and buy 10 or 15 feeder goldfish and throw them in there. And my wife loved it. I had a little waterfall in that, little electric pump. And winter came, and the temperature was supposed to go down to 10 degrees. And my wife's freaking out. She's like, the fish are going to die. I'm like, okay, I got this. So working with commercial dishwashers and that, I got my hands on a little tiny 1.5 gallon water heater tank for a dishwasher, threw a 1,500-watt element in there and plugged it in and ran it in line. I'm like, Dad, that'll keep him fine. So we went to bed that night, and the pond wasn't freezing. Next morning we come out. It's 4 degrees outside. There's 12 inches of snow on the ground, and the pond was steaming. And I went over there and stuck a thermometer, and it was 95 degrees. The fish were still going. I'm like, oh, I almost poached my fish, and it was ugly. And so I shut it off and brought the heater in. Told her, I was like, you know what? Do you want me to kill the fish, or do you want nature to do its thing? She's like, oh, let nature do its thing. And they all went to the bottom of the pond. There was some dirt and mud on the bottom, and the thing froze pretty solid. And 3 months later, the ice finally thawed out, and most of the fish were alive. I was like, good. I almost killed the fish trying to screw with nature. I'm not doing that again. I was like, oh my God, 95-degree water for my goldfish, and it's 5 degrees outside with 12 inches of snow. I don't think that was a good idea.
Now, what did people do beforehand? Like the picture here is where they go out there with a hatchet and they break through the ice to and refill it. And that's what Brandon was doing here. And sometimes he'd go out there with a sledgehammer, break the ice, pull the frozen chunks out, pour fresh water in. And that's why, on the one here, picture here, where I go back up to it. Where is it here? Go back here. Where they take double, have a box built around it and stuff insulation around it. That's one of the things they're doing, are doing out there to keep it from doing it. I've seen them either paint with the rubber paint or just line it with black plastic so it's black, so the heat it absorbs the heat when the sun's out. But one of the other things they do is, if I down like this, they will cover most of it up and just leave a small opening for the horses or cows to drink from. That's answer Diana 2's question there. But one of the things too that they would do is they would try to find a natural spring on the property and run the water from there into the bigger trough, or just dig a pit so the water was flowing through the pit all winter long, and the movement of the water. Plus, it was water was like only about 60 degrees coming out of the ground, so it was warming the waters that went through and keep it from freezing. But feed, making sure, like Liberty Garden said there, like for his livestock back in the beginning. Let's see if I can find that real quick here. There it is. He puts out the protein tubs and the big bales of hay, and some, depending on the rancher, whether they and I know Liberty Gardens had gotten a round thing to put the hay in, so that it doesn't get all spread all over the place and stomped on and peed on and pooped on by the livestock. That way they can reach in and just eat. And there's some that are elevated for that way they can eat it, and the loose stuff falls on the ground and they can eat that without stepping on it. So providing feed, and then they have the little protein tubs for the extra minerals and vitamins they need during the wintertime. That works there. But yeah, you got just think outside. Remember, all these animals lived in nature without us, and so we've kind of made life easy for them, made them soft. So yeah, we got to keep them alive during the wintertime. So, but you don't have to have a heated spa barn for them. It just needs to be, protection from the wind, protection from the rain, water, and feed. And generally, they'll do just fine through the winter.
Now, not all animals were, natural in a certain climate environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like chickens and that were more further south where it never froze really, or if it did a little bit. So we bring chickens way north, Alaska, stuff like that. Yeah, we got to do something to try to minimize the impact on them, because their little bodies can't handle, 40
You'd
below
be surprised.
temperatures.
When I bought the property across the street, my daughter and son-in-law moved in there. The neighbors had several different neighbors. Their chickens got out and they were just free ranging in the yards. Well, they were coming over here and hiding in the big pine tree that was across there, because the coyotes couldn't get to them. The raccoons couldn't get to them. The cougars couldn't get to them. They'd be way up. They'd be 30 feet up in that tree there, and you hear them bark, bark. Hey, chickens fly.
Yeah.
And they would go up there at night, and the next spring, whoa, wait a minute, they have baby chicks.
Yeah.
Because they would make nests up there, and they would raise the chicks, and they would go down, and I don't know what they did like normal other birds, and regurgitate food for the baby chicks or what, but there were baby chicks come springtime.
They'd throw them out of the nest from 30 feet up and let them bounce on the ground. If you lived, hey, you're good. If you died, well, you're food.
So, yeah, beekeepers. Yeah, there are a lot of beekeepers around here, and I've seen several of them. They'll line up their hives, and then they'll line across the back and between the hives. They will put bales of straw, and then they will put so they'll have a row of bales across here, and then they would have, get my hands moving right. They'll have, between each one, they'll have a bale coming out, and then the hives in between, and then on top they'll have more bales of straw, so it's protected. And then across the front, they drape a tarp over at night, and they'll raise it up during the daytime and put it down at night. And unless it's storming, they'll put it back up again. But they'll, but generally the bees pretty much stay inside. And so yeah, the bees, just by having that bales of straw around it, that retains a lot of the heat from the hive. Yeah.
To beat them, sorry. I saw that.
Yeah.
Heat them.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, bees was the one. Thank you, Caleb, for mentioning bees. Bees is the one thing I forgot to include here. Because my wife and I have thought about getting bees, but we've decided that if we get the alfalfa growing out in the field here and we start rotating, we get a couple head of cattle or some sheep or some goats and rotate them around, we'll just get one of the bee guys, say, hey, we got several acres of, here's what we're doing. I don't know sure if that's enough, if that's worth you putting out a hive out here or not. And that way, it's a win-win. We get bees out here pollinating everything. They get, alfalfa honey. Boom. Oh, okay. Moisture killed them. Yeah, I'm not sure how they keep the mice out. But and I'm not sure. But I've seen them piled around here where they line them up with the straw and stuff. It may be that they've up off the ground enough so the mice aren't getting up in there. They have like metal legs on the platform. The mice can't climb the metal legs, so I'm not sure. If you cover it totally with tarps, you get too much moisture. Well, that's probably why they open it up and stuff during the daytime. Yeah. I have to go talk. I haven't talked to these guys. I've just been, as I go by, drive and see what they do during the wintertime, setting their hives out and stuff. Might be interesting to see if they, if any of the other guys bring them indoors, like in a barn, and just put them in the barn. I'm just kind of wondering if they put it in the barn whether it would get warm enough where the bees would get too active. Don't know. But yeah, so you're time. Okay, so yeah, so whatever you have, chickens, rabbits, pheasants, thinking guineas, but not guineas. Not what I really want to think. Quail, doves, whatever it is, turkeys. Yeah, just go ahead and make sure that they have protection from the rain, protection from the wind, and they should do okay. And if you throw some bales of straw out there for them, make a little thing, they can do it. The one thing you got to be careful of, though, with if you're doing things with straw and stuff, you got to make sure that you keep the possums, the bobcats and stuff out of where they're at in there. You got to make sure it's caged off enough where they can't get in there to them. All right. Any side chat? Any other information I forgot about? So I'm then looking. Let me get this up over here so I can look at it. Oh, Tennessee Tactical 1 is going live in about 10 minutes here, 10, 15 minutes. And he's got Mad Shad with him doing Preparedness 101 for Tennessee Tactical 1. And
hey, Shadow Scout's going live tomorrow again. Second one since his issues.
Yeah, and the thing I got on that, I believe it said it was 1 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah, which I think is what, noon, or it's like noon or something here.
It's because it used to be 12 o'clock Eastern. So if he may have gone off daylight savings time earlier than we did.
Well,
the Demon Rats here Demon Rats gave us a couple more weeks of daylight savings time, and the rest of the world didn't follow suit.
Yeah, well, tomorrow day is not daylight; it's tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Is when they give us an hour to sleep, And
Yeah, they set the clocks back an hour. Too bad they can't set history back 4 years.
Yeah. How do they move the stone? How do they move the stones at Stonehenge? That would be interesting.
Yeah. All right. So coming up here tomorrow on Gray Man Prepping, topic is get ready for another panic run on supplies. And I've already seen stuff starting to happen and people reporting shortages on certain things during the port strike. People went out and panic bought TP wait a minute, the TP is made here in the United States. Why are they panic buying TP?
Because they're already
when it's the imports from China. Okay.
I'm gonna run buy a flat screen TV. Hurry up. Oh wait, I don't need one. Anyway.
Yeah. So Monday, back here on Camppatton Family Compound for the Fireside Chat is air drying and hanging herbs. And we'll also talk about root vegetable storage and other winter storage of fruits, squash, whatever. Yeah, it's a storage one. Then Tuesday on Gray Man Prepping, the election day, is get ready for stupidity. And yeah, and so
wait, are you live on Tuesday? You're live on Tuesday?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be on.
Hey Rick, how's it going? Rick Dan's in the house there.
Fun.
All right. Midnight Ride on Thursday, and next Friday is
pending the collapse of the United States. Anyway.
No. Next Friday, we're going to be talking about winterizing your garden, things you can do on your garden. A little bit more than what we talked about before. Plus, it is the 1,500 subscriber giveaway on Friday. There's going to be, for those for channel members that are on the Staff Sergeants Boot Camp, there's a $50 Amazon gift card giveaway. For the camper level, the basic 99 cents a month level is going to give away a couple $10 Amazon gift cards, and I'm going to do a couple $5 Amazon gift cards for anybody that's in the chat. So yeah, so that's what's coming up next Friday. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Hope you learned something. Even if it's about the watering cans, the different heaters available, whatever it is, you learned something, and hopefully it'll keep your livestock feeling better. And we'll hopefully see you Monday. No, not Monday. Tomorrow, Saturday, on Survival Saturday, Gray Man Prepping, 8 o'clock Eastern. So take care, and hopefully see you there.
Have a good night.